So whenever you look at your fragrance collection, you're thinking to yourself, what should I wear today? A lot of times you think about what you're going to be wearing, where you're going to be going, stuff like that, whether it's work, if you're going out with your friends, your parents, whatever it might be. And so last weekend I went golfing with my dad, my brother, and my best friend. I was wearing a fragrance they all liked, and they said, have you ever thought about talking on your channel about fragrances that would be good for golfing, since your fragrance is dedicated for men's fragrances? And so that kind of spawned a video or an idea in my head of why should I not? So I'm doing today 5 fragrances that are going to be great if you're looking to go out to the greens, out to the golf course, and ones that are going to be really great to wear in those type of situations. And so without further ado, let's get it. What's going on, guys? So for those of you guys who don't know, I usually don't talk much about my personal life on my channel outside of like bullshitting on a live, but I like sports. A lot of that has to do with hockey, football, whatever it is. I also love playing golf. I've been doing it since I was younger, and I hate watching it. I think it's like paint drying, but I love playing it. And last weekend I went out with my dad and my brother, and my best friend said to me, hey, why don't you talk about some fragrances on your channel that would be good for golfing, because he golfs too. And I was like, yeah, that's a really good idea. I don't know why I haven't thought of that. When you talk about golfing fragrances, what do you think about? You think about a little bit of class, because when you go golfing, you're dressing. It's kind of like a fun, casual dress up where you have like your polos, your nice khaki shorts, usually stuff like that. And having some drinks with your buddies or your parent, your dad, or whatever it is. But golfing usually has the green, so you want a little bit of green, a little bit of fresh, some citrus, and that is what we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to be doing 5 fragrances that would be great for golfing or any type of like leisurely sport activity during the spring and summer. Starting out here, we're going to go with my first one. It came out in the end of 2021. But really, the release worldwide was in 2022, like in January 2022. This is by Dior. It is Dior Homme Sport 2021. So again, it's called 2021. It's kind of confusing because the initial release online in Europe was in 2021, but it actually hit the stores in the United States in 2022. So anyway, when you first spray this on, you get that Dior Homme DNA, spiced up a bit, has a bit of aldehydes. It's an aldehydic version of it with that pink pepper mixed in there. A little bit of this elemi underneath, but you also have a nice helping of citrus. Lemon, bergamot, mixed together again with that Dior Homme DNA that is front and center, but it is more fresh, a little bit sporty, but just because the name is sports, not necessarily a sport fragrance. This definitely, because it is a Dior Homme, it has more of that classy feeling to it. So it is a classy citrus fragrance, has some aromatics underneath, but it is fresh, it's airy, it's aldehydic. It is a citrus, nice citrus freshness in the opening. And then as you move your way into the mid into the dry down, you get a little bit more of that elemi. The pink pepper pulls up, and then you get some woods creeping in there. And that is pretty much the bulk of your fragrance, because then you have that Dior Homme DNA, just again, spiced up a little bit fresher. And then that is what you have. It is it's like a classy, sporty version of Dior Homme with a spicy pink pepper in there. I think it is a nice, fresh, spicy option with that nice citrus opening, really good woods. It is that higher quality because obviously it's Dior. I think Dior Homme Sport 2021, it was my signature fragrance last year as far as fresh, all-season fragrances go. This is great to wear because you're not going to be pushing out too much, but you'll be able to be smelled by anybody within like a 3-foot distance of you for 5-6 hours easy until it becomes a skin scent. I think this is one of the best fragrances ever released. No joke. Going into the next one, I'm going through these quick because I have to leave. I hope I can get this video out by Saturday. We have that smoke from Canada that's made its way down to Pittsburgh, and we're trying to get out of the area before it actually gets too bad here. But with that said, we're going into another one that is in my top 5 fragrances of all time. This one is super versatile, one of my favorite fragrances, and I'm surprised I haven't mentioned it since last August. This is by Chanel. It is Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. I've mentioned the Edition Blanche, I've mentioned the original, I've mentioned the Bleu de Chanel's, but I haven't mentioned this since last August, and it's my favorite from the line. I mean, as far as smells, the original I like for the longevity and that peach note, but this one with the mandarin orange, vanilla, woods, it is a really beautiful fragrance. Overall, Yeah, it's definitely my favorite. So when you first spray it on, the longevity isn't quite there, even though it's called Eau Extreme. I only get 4 to 5 hours on this fragrance. First 3 hours, it pushes out above average to moderate, and then it comes down to a skin scent after the 3, and then you get about 2 hours of skin scent at max. So you will have to reapply this if you're one of those sticklers for longevity. But the Eau Extreme is beautiful. First spray it on, you get a little bit of that mandarin orange in there, mixed together with a little bit of this woodiness and some musk. There is some mint in here as well, but it's really dialed back, as well as some aromatics. It's just more of a fresh, spicy mandarin orange right in the opening with a little bit of woods and musk. As you work your way into the dry down, after about 10 minutes, that is where this really hits its stride, and you get this beautiful vanillic woods mixed together with that musk and a little undertone of that mandarin orange, and it's beautiful. It is just super versatile, can be worn in any situation. It has that luxury feel to it, just like the Dior Homme Sport, but because that vanilla's in there, it also has this almost, the Dior Homme Sport I would recommend 25 years and older. This one I think can be worn by 18 and older. It has that vanilla in there in the woods. I think it is a very, very mass appealing fragrance. Obviously, it's one of the most popular out there. If you can get your hands on this fragrance, I would recommend you buy this over any other fragrance that's out there if you're looking for versatility. The only other one that is like kind of in that same ballpark of versatility is this one or YEDP. Literally, that's what I'm looking for. Unless you're talking about a true blue fragrance, then we're going to go with probably Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum, but still, if you're looking for something that does just something a little bit different and can be worn in a lot of different situations, this is great for golf. I mean, it really pairs really well. It's a Allure Homme Sport. It's not really a sporty fragrance as far as like super citrusy and green and stuff. It's a nice blend of everything with a nice vanilla undertone. People will definitely give you compliments, and guys love this. So, I mean, if you want to go and you're going golfing mostly with other males and you want them to say, hey man, what are you wearing? I want to buy that. Well, that's the one. Going into the third one, this is going to be the only niche on the list, and this one is almost a must whenever you go golfing because of the green tones in it. It is mint and aromatics really at its core, with a really bright lemony overtone in the opening for the first like 30 minutes. This is Parfums de Marly Sedley. This is kind of like your blue and Broxen version of Parfums de Marly, which is your niche style, designer-esque niche style fragrance. Very high quality. When you first spray it on, you get a lot of lemon mixed with some mint. The lemon is sharp. It is in your face. It is the main player in the beginning 30 minutes of the fragrance. It is really, really a beautiful fragrance. And one thing I didn't mention in the Chanel is obviously mixed with that vanilla musk is that woods, is that sandalwood that's in there. It provides a little bit of a creaminess. Well, that one, it does that in this too. So when you get into the dry down, you get this woods and aromatics as that lemon starts to dissipate into the background, which it does take a while for the lemon because it is more of a lemon aromatic, citrus aromatic. But as you get to the dry down and the woods come in, you get a little bit of this cashmere note, and then you also do get that really beautiful creamy sandalwood that comes in. It lightens up the fragrance and it gives it a little bit of depth, and I think it's beautiful. Parfums de Marly Sedley, because it has that green mintiness and then the citrus and the freshness and then that kind of blue and Broxen-ish style fragrance, that is exactly what you're gonna need when you go to the golf course. Again, green golf course, that's what you get in this, and it's beautiful. It's not a full true green fragrance, it's more of a blue fragrance with a green edge to it, which I think is absolutely beautiful. You get the mass appeal, plus you get that herbaceous undertone. So that is Parfums de Marly Sedley. Trying to rush through this again, sorry. Going into this one is going to be if you're not trying to draw attention by too many people, but you want to smell great. This is a true oversprayer. So even if you're not an oversprayer, you need to overspray this. This came out last year. This is by Ralph Lauren. It is Ralph's Club Parfum. So Ralph's Club Parfum, when you first spray it on, it has that Ralph's Club DNA, but it's smoother, it's more mature. It has a little bit more of a depth to it. I don't know why I said depthness. It's not even a word. It has more depth to it because there is a little bit more going on. Obviously, it's going to be that lavender, clary sage, sweet aromatic style fragrance. In this one, you also do get this grapefruit apple mixture in the opening, which really provides a little bit of that depth. It's not too citrusy. It comes more off as like a fruity, almost sweet bubblegum style fragrance. Unlike the original Rouse Club, which that is kind of the main prominent portion of the fragrance, that is more of an undertone as that lavender, clary sage, beautiful, smooth, aromatic. It's very much a more mature version of the original. While the original was more playful, this one is going to be more for that dressed up style guy. Or if you're kind of looking for something that will do both, that's this. This is going to be more for playful and for the more dressed up, serious, going to work, whatever. You can wear this with a suit. You can wear this with, again, a polo or even a t-shirt, like a Adidas t-shirt like right now. But anyway, Rouse Club dries down, has some of that aromatics mix, because aromatics don't really dry down too quick. Whenever they do, it gets down there. The sweetness kind of dissipates. It's still there for the remainder of the fragrance, and then it's just more of a woody patchouli as you get into the dry down, mixed with those aromatics, that clary sage and that lavender. And that is the base and the heart of the fragrance. It's very smooth, but it's very subtle. It is a moderate fragrance as soon as you spray it on, and then after 30 minutes, it gets more into a skin scent unless you overspray and spray on clothes. Then it will never be above average. It'll be a moderate scent. Spray it about 10 to 15 times and you'll get a good amount of projection on it. And it does last on your skin just as a skin scent for about 7 to 8 hours. That's Rouse Club Parfum. Really good fragrance. Whenever I first got it last year, I thought to myself, this doesn't last. But it actually does last as a skin scent for like 6 to 8 hours. But you can't really tell, and I was really pissed about it at first. But once you kind of let it settle and you smell it on your skin, it is a really good, just clean fragrance. Just the way that I feel about it. Last one is my favorite one for golf, and the one that I wore last week that spawned this entire video. This one is the True Ideal Golfing Fragrance. I've talked about it a bunch. Unlike the rest of these, I've talked about this almost every spring video. You guys know it's one of my favorite fragrances, if not my favorite freshie. Lacoste Blanc Eau Fraiche, or Lacoste L1212 Blanc Eau Fraiche. Look at that dent. Oh, I need another one. This is great. I heard it's being discontinued. Sure hope that's not correct. This is citrus, woods, and ginger. The ginger is like a pickled ginger, kind of like what you get on the side of sushi, but don't think it smells exactly like that because that kind of scares people off. I don't like the smell of that either. It's too sharp. It doesn't have that really sharpness to it. It's more of an ambroxan citrus mixture. So you get the woods, you get this effervescence to it. It is a beautiful fragrance through and through. I always say it's like walking through a forest on a windy day and holding a lemon up to your nose. It's nice citrus overtone. And then as that starts to dissipate, you get that really effervescent ambroxan mixed together with what is surrounding the entire fragrance, which is a nice green texture as well as that pickled ginger. Really beautiful fragrance. You get a little bit of vetiver in the dry down as well, just like you do in Sedley, but it's not too prominent, just like Sedley. And overall, beautiful fragrance. It works great. Lasts about 5 to 6 hours. It does project pretty nicely for the first 3 to 4. It is a reapply as well. Most of these are. Most fresh fragrances aren't going to last you more than 4 as far as presenting themselves as a push out. Like it's not going to be an elixir style that's going to be pushing out across the room. You're going to need heavier notes for that, like amber and oud and just any kind of deeper note. And these type of fragrances, they're more on the citrus, musk, stuff like that. And that's okay with me because I like to reapply. I like to carry travel decants with me. You can get a travel atomizer 20 milliliters that doesn't really leak or evaporate on Amazon for about 10 bucks. Just get that, fill it up, and then you're good. And you can just sit it right on top and it fills it up for you. That is Lacoste Blanc Eau Fraiche, probably my favorite out of this entire list, no joke. And it's the cheapest out of any of the ones on this list. This one you can find usually for 40 to 45 bucks on average for 100 milliliter. This one right now is going for 130, but you can find it for less because it is a Rouse Club. This is obviously Sedley. Unless it's on a sale, it's 300. This is Cashy. It's 160, and they never really get discounted outside of maybe like a Macy's sale. And then you have Dior Homme Sport, which you can find on Joma Shop for around $80 to $90. Really good fragrance as well. But let me know what some of your favorite golfing fragrances or leisure sport activities during the spring and summer are. And again, I'll be back with another video. Hopefully I have a live this Sunday. But again, there's smoke rolling into Pittsburgh, and I have a family member that has a respiratory disease, so we have to go out of state. So thank you guys so much, and I really appreciate you guys. Make sure that you like the video to put it on the algorithm, and I'll be back with another one. Thank you so much. Peace out.